What's up everyone, welcome to the bonus episode for Demon Souls. In this episode I'll show you everything I didn't show in the main playthrough and do all the stuff for the Platinum Trophy, so we'll start off here with forging weapons and getting all the upgrade trophies and the miracles and the spells and all that. And then we'll move on to more exciting things like the Black Phantom fights and the secret locations and hidden items and stuff like that. And what I guess I'll do, I'll timestamp all the major events in the description so you can skip around if you don't want to look at me upgrading weapons for the first 5 minutes or so. So the way New Game Plus works, since I didn't explain that at the end of the last episode, is that the first time you do a New Game Plus, all the enemies' damage and health scale up by about 50%, and I think it's 25% for every subsequent New Game Plus. And in New Game Plus, you start over with none of your keys, all of the NPCs reset, all of the side quests, quote-unquote, reset, but you still maintain your entire inventory, all of your soul levels, your equipment, your spells, your miracles, all that stuff. All of that carries over. Also, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what upgrade I was on, because I'm already behind in talking about this stuff. So the Needle of Eternal Agony back there, which was the short little hook-looking thing, you can make it with things like daggers and rapiers at +7, and they can be combined with the Man-Eater Soul to make this item that leeches very tiny amounts of souls per hit. And it's also the only use for the Man-Eater Soul. Let's see, did the Blue Blood Sword in a previous episode, did all that Northern Regalia. Oh man, so behind. Gotta focus. The Dozer Axe you make with Vanguard Soul, plus one of the big axes or a halberd +6. It's very, very heavy, has no stat scaling. Does have 340 base damage though. Oh, also it can't be upgraded, so one more shot against it. The Scraping Spear, which I showed back there, has been used against me so many times to devastating effect. I have nightmares thinking about it. You combine a short spear or a winged spear +7 with Phalanx's soul to make that. The Insanity Catalyst is a catalyst wrapped in the golden garb that possessed the old monk. And you can make it with a wooden or a silver catalyst +0. A standard upgrade. Not even an upgrade, just standard. Plus the old monk's soul. It's one of the 4 uses per his soul, and it reduces your maximum MP by half, but also increases your spell power. Woo! I'm getting exhausted. Let's see, upgrade paths. Quality, things like claws and daggers can be upgraded down the quality path. They're also the cheapest material-wise. The Sticky Compound Longbow +5, I think I've already said, is one of the best bows in the game. The short bows take less upgrade stones to reach +5, but not by that many. It's worth going for the Compound Longbow. Let's see, the Dark upgrade path, it's easier to upgrade a buckler than it is the Purple Flame Shield. You only need 20 shards and 7 chunks. But for the PFS, you need 44 and 18 respectively, along with 2 pure stones, as opposed to just 1 pure cloud stone for the buckler. But I already had the Purple Flame Shield, it's one of my favorite shields, I like it. Fatal adds more backstab and riposte damage, but lowers your base damage a bunch, so I don't tend to use it that often. Tearing adds bleed damage and a dexterity bonus. Blessed, see, the cheapest way to get to +5 with Blessed is by doing Iron Knuckles, and the mace is tied for second cheapest to upgrade to +5 with a bunch of other weapon types, but you can get a pre-upgraded mace, so whatever. Crescent, you can start Crescent upgrades with a weapon at +6, I think bladed or pointed weapons. You can find a more fleshed out list on the wiki. Oh god, and now I'm on dispels in this one. If you haven't been able to tell by now, this is post-commentary of all this stuff. Crushing, again, Iron Knuckles are the cheapest way to get to +5. They require the least amount of upgrade materials. But again, you find a pre-upgraded Crushing Battle Axe somewhere in World 2. I think that's in 2-1, around the elevator. And that's the 3rd cheapest option to upgrade anyway. Let's see, for Sharp, Claws and Daggers, Mailbreaker, the Parrying Dagger, I think, the Secret Dagger are also very cheap to get to +5. All of them also start at +0, except for... I mean, you only need to be at +0 to get to start down the Sharp upgrade path, except for a spiked shield. In order to make a sharp spiked shield, you need to start with a spiked shield plus 6. Okay, now on to spells and miracles, trying to catch up still. Firestorm is the best magic option for AoE damage. Its miraculous counterpart is Wrath of God, which I picked up in the main playthrough. And I actually prefer Firestorm more. I don't know why I picked up Wrath of God instead. Firestorm has lower range, but it's much quicker startup to cast. Soulsucker, if you trade the Maiden in Black Soul, I'm just going to talk over the Disciple here because she's not really saying anything important. I'll get to explaining her in just a moment. The Maiden Soul, if you trade that to Yuria in New Game Plus, then you get a spell called Soulsucker, which is an instant kill on any NPCs who are not bosses. I think it might also kill enemy Black Phantoms, invading Black Phantoms, or Phantoms who you invade yourself. And a couple bosses also use a variant of this. Oh, by the way, before I forget, you also gain their souls when you kill people with Soulsucker. Mephistopheles uses a version of this, and False King Allant also uses a variant of that. Oh, also it can de-level enemies. And if you're hit by it, you will lose a soul level.
Oh, why, thank you. Thank you, kind soul. Please, take this fine piece of work. Besides, I have no use for it now. And thus begins my final, eternal rest.
And I just want to let Rydyell talk. The Dull Rat's Ring is pretty much just the Clever Rat's Ring, except with a defensive slant to it. Where the Clever Rat's Ring gives you a 50% damage bonus when your HP is below 30%. The Dull Rat's Ring does the same thing, except instead of damage, it's defense. The Light Weapon spell is a way better version of Enchant Weapon from Penetrator's Soul. Oh, by the way, this cutscene I forgot to show in the main playthrough.
Oh, the demons haven't got to you, have they? Well, I'm in luck. You see that pit? It's filled with treasure. But, I can't get to it myself. Go on, have a look. It's more riches than I've ever dreamed of. That's it. That pit just there. Go on, get a little... Don't hold it against me, eh? Take your time, starving to death. Then I'll sell every last trinket off your corpse.
Patches kicks your ass into a pit, but I will get my revenge on him later on.
I am indebted to you for your help in Latria. Without it, I would not have made it back to the Nexus. Now I can go on with my work. And for that, I must thank you. What is it? I have no business with you. Not yet. Do not be concerned. Life is hardly as precious as one might think.
And if you free Yurt, but don't kill Yurt, he hangs out up there in a corner on the second floor of the Nexus. And down this way, I'm going to be getting that Mercury rapier plus 1. That is down here when you first go outside in the first level of the Tower of Latria. I wasn't exactly done talking about spells just yet. So there's also one more I wanted to talk about real quick that you saw me get. It's the Second Chance Miracle, and it is very, very handy. You can use the Old Hero Soul to get that, as well as the Large Sword of Searching, but this should absolutely take precedence. Unless you just enjoy how silly the Large Sword of Searching is. It lasts until death, or until you reload a profile or load a new world. And you can recast it any number of times, and it revives you from death at half health. I don't know how it interacts with soul form and body form and world tendency, but it is very, very useful. So the NPC back there gives you, that I was talking to, the Disciple of God. If your faith is above, I believe, 20, you can have a special, unique conversation with her, and she will give you a Stone of Ephemeral Eyes as well. as a Pure Faintstone. And my commentary is kind of out of sync here because I'm just kind of trying to play catch-up. And right here, I'm just going to go ahead and show off all the locations of the primeval demons. At Pure White character tendency, you saw me head up to where the monumental is. You can get the Friends Ring. I'll explain that in just a moment after I get the matching ring, the Foes Ring. As for the blue Rydyell, as for the Rydyell rescue, there was also the Pure White World tendency Rubble I point out way earlier in the main playthrough, but there isn't anything terribly important back there, so I decided not to show it. You can get, I think, Saint Urbain and Sage Freke's armor there. No, actually, I think it's Sage Freke and the Rogue's armor. Plus, there's some stuff like I think the EP rapier and stuff like that. Epi? I'm not sure how that's pronounced. What else? Oh, the dragon, right. So, while I was doing the dragon in the extreme fast forward through that, to get the trophy for killing the dragon as well as the large flame scale. That was about 2 hours, and when I recorded that, I was literally laying on my bed, just tapping the button to fire the bow over and over again until something happened. And it was as long as it was because I didn't realize my bow had broken in my sleepless delirium at that point. So at one point I went into hyper mode, below 30% health with a Clever Rat's Ring, just sped up there. Also, I believe I was only using the sticky compound longbow +1 when that was recorded. I should have probably been using the white bow to make that go a little bit faster because the white bow has 10 more range than the sticky compound longbow. One of the few situations in which it is advantageous to use that bow instead of another one. Woo! I didn't record the primeval demon in the Shrine of Storms because, well, partially because I forgot and because I pointed out where he was previously. You saw me go towards the slug nest to knock all the slugs down. Once you knock the big ball of slugs down from the ceiling, you can drop down to the floor. You have a bunch of slugs to clear out, and then you can claim the Moonlight Sword. And I explained all about the origins of that, as well as Istarelle, which we are now heading towards to pick up. So 3 of these guys guard Istarelle. I decided to skip the first 2 because as long as you have the Thief's Ring, you can pull them one by one, much like I'm doing here with the Fireball, and you can just kind of whittle them down from a range. And I deal with them all pretty much the same way. The episode is, it started out being about 7 hours worth of footage, and I pared it down to about 40 minutes for your viewing pleasure. Nice digestible amount of time as opposed to an ungodly length of time. And God, I'm trying to think of how long I spent actually playing Demon Souls to collect everything for this playthrough. It got so out of control when I was playing this game. I probably did something like, I'm gonna say 5 full playthroughs to get all the footage. Because every now and then I would notice like really messed up, distorted footage. I'm like, no, I have to go back and get this. And then of course you need the 4 main playthroughs anyway, just to get all of the souls, to get all the spells and miracles. And then it takes a ton of time farming and shit. This playthrough probably lasted something like 70 to 80 hours. And that, I think over the course of the playlist, got trimmed down to a nice, digestible, I'm gonna guess something like 16, 17 maybe? Still not as many parts to this series as the Banjo-Kazooie Let's Play, which surprises the hell out of me. Even though a lot of Banjo-Kazooie episodes were like 15 minutes long. And back there, that was showing off the shortcut in 5-1, as well as where you get the pre-upgraded Blessed Mace +1. Now I'm just gonna murder a bunch of disciples so I can get my character tendency up to pure black, so we can start the Mephistopheles quest chain.
What are you doing?
So let's see, that's a couple disciples. I know you gave me a Pure Faintstone earlier, and I appreciate that and all, but you gotta die too. Can't leave anyone alive. You two, yeah, this guy most of all. You remember back in the beginning of the playthrough when I went to him to try to buy some magic, and even though my magic wasn't high enough to do that, he just treated me like shit? Yeah, that's what that's for. I might let this guy fight back for a minute. So I think I was talking about light weapon. Ignore the fact that for a lot of this I've been using enchant weapon. I think there's even some footage in here where I'm still using enchant weapon. Enchant weapon is inferior to light weapon, period. If you have beaten Penetrator, use his soul to get light weapon and use that. It's much better. Also, at this point, I'm showing off the blue blood sword and how awesome that is just because of the combination of swing speed and damage. So now that the others are dead, I have pure black character tendency. I'm gonna go ahead and kill Yurt. That way, Mephistopheles will spawn. I think I have to reload the world, so real quick. There you are, Mephistopheles.
I can see that you have killed in the past. No one can blame you for that. Demon souls are too precious to relinquish. Perhaps a knight like you would have an interest in my offer. I want you to kill Saint Urbain and his followers. You will be rewarded amply. Do we have an agreement? A reason? Just think of it as an opportunity to extinguish a competitor. Excellent. I'm relying on you.
So I've already killed a few of the NPCs for Mephistopheles' quest chain, and I know that Meph just asked me to kill someone else, but I think it's time for Patches to die. Don't you? I fucking hate Patches so much. I think I wind up in this fight just taking a bunch of random hits trying to parry him, and I am really, really bad at parrying spears. I can never get the timing right. Just over and over. I'm just spamming the parry button at this point. Sooner or later it'll work, I'm sure. Patches is actually one of my most hated NPCs to fight. Everything about him I hate. I hate that he kicks me down a goddamn hole and keeps trying to trap me. I hate trying to fight him, because every time you take a swing at him, he just pokes out from behind his little shield. It doesn't seem like he has a stamina gauge, so he never runs out of stamina. This is a good way. The only good way to really kill him is to parry him, and I am really bad at parrying spears. Now I can get on with killing Saint Urbain.
What are you doing?
Saint Urbain's not going to put a fight up, so I'm going to give him a chance to breathe and actually attack me. I think the only thing he actually does is he casts Wrath of God like that. There's that extreme Wrath of God range. Definitely outranges Firestorm, but Firestorm does not take that long to cast, so it's much, much harder to interrupt it. Now that Saint Urbain has gotten his one little hit in.
Now, I want you to kill Sage Freke and his apprentice. I will, of course, provide you with a reward of similar value. Excellent.
So in the Mephistopheles side quest, Saint Urbain and Sage Freke come first. They're the first two quests that she gives you. And for doing each of those, you get 2 Stones of Ephemeral Eyes, and they count as separate quests. And then there's Patches and Bior, and I think you get colorless demon souls for killing each of them. And then Ostrava gets you a Talisman of Beasts once you kill him. And finally, killing Yuria gets you the Foe's Ring because she is the final objective. Also, I forgot to include Bior. Fuck. Just realized that.
Done already? Here is your reward. Take it. So, you've completed everything, hey? You're what they might call a miracle worker. Lastly, I must only kill you, and the secret of the soul shall be eternally safe.
So the thing about the Mephistopheles quest is that I think you can only collect the rewards if you complete the kill while on that quest. Like, if you kill them before talking to Mephistopheles, you won't have had the quests yet, so you won't be rewarded for killing that NPC. But she'll jump you up the chain to the next closest quest. And since I killed Yuria before she gave me the quest to kill her, she didn't give me the foe's ring. I didn't get the foe's ring on this playthrough, I got a different one, and I will just show that off real quickly. The foe's ring does the opposite of the friend's ring. It gives you a 20% damage bonus when you invade someone as a Black Phantom. The friend's ring gives you a 20% damage bonus as a friendly Blue Phantom. What am I trudging through this swamp here? I forget what this is all about. Oh, this is going to be for the Black Phantom Selen Vinland fight. And I'm just trying to approach her silently from behind and start the fight off with a backstab, because this is a fairly tough Blue Phantom. Or I mean Black Phantom, for the same reason that the Meat Cleaver Black Phantom is tough, because your mobility in the swamp is kind of screwed, and she tried to cast Wrath of God. Luckily, dealt with that. You can keep knocking her down. My stamina is given out, though, so I have to run away like a bitch. Selen Vinland also wields a weapon called Blind. She also heals herself, which I forgot about. Selen Vinland wields a weapon called Blind, which ignores shields, just like the Moonlight Sword. Right, that's the other property of the Moonlight Sword I forgot to talk about. Completely ignores your defense. And it's also the lightest weapon in the game, and you get it for killing her. Let me just go ahead and fast forward through my cowardice and reapproach her, and hopefully this time take her down for good. She isn't at full health this time when I backstab her, so I can just keep knocking her down with R2s. Oh, she rolled away. I can't remember what happens here. This keeps going for another 20 seconds or so, though. Oh man, that great moment when I forget what happened in my own playthrough. The cool thing about these big heavy weapons is even if you don't directly hit, even if the weapon is about like an inch away, you still get like this incidental damage, almost like a shockwave damage around the area where the blade hits. That's enough to take Selen Vinland out. That last 29 damage. And next up is Black Phantom Satsuki, who killed me, I think 4 or 5 times. Because 1, he hits very hard. 2, I kept trying to style on him and parry everything he did. And yeah, he hits hard. And he hits considerably fast. Plus he has those lunging attacks. The other thing that makes him a little bit annoying is that as soon as you spawn into the world, he spots you. Even if you spawn in with a Thief's Ring, he pretty much comes straight at you from that first archway. Ooh, and he brought a friend. I forgot about you, Jack Skellington. I'm trying... Did I just steal one of Jim Sterling's jokes? I probably did. But once you just kind of accept how fast and hard-hitting he is, and block, he doesn't pose that much of a threat. Still pretty threatening. Still imposing. Oh, there I go trying to be dumb and parry. At least it paid off. Yeah. Oh, and I just noticed I'm using... I'm pretty sure that's the Northern Regalia and not the Soul Brand. Oh, and... like many of the Black Phantoms, Satsuki heals. And it sucks. It sucks when you work that hard and he just goes and eats some grass. This luckily did not turn into an 1.5-hour fight like that fight against the old monk, the guy who invaded and took over as the old monk. Let me just get behind you, Satsuki. Let me finish this. There we go. I believe up next, I want to say it's Black Phantom Lord Rydyell, but we'll find out in about 5 seconds. And Black Phantom Satsuki drops Hiltless. One of the only NPCs, Black Phantom NPCs, in the 5 worlds who does not drop a unique weapon upon death. Let's see, Miralda drops the Guillotine Axe. What does Black Phantom... Jeez, I forgot his name. Wow, why did I forget the Black Phantom in World 2? The guy who drops the Talisman of Beasts. I think that's the only thing he drops, so that's not unique. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy that I can't remember his name. Lord Rydyell here drops the weapon he's using, the phosphorescent pole. Selen Vinland drops blind. Yeah, it's just, old what's-his-face and Satsuki who don't drop unique weapons. Rydyell is otherwise not a very difficult fight. His range can really work against you if you're in these tight spaces because he has these big arcing 360-degree spinning attacks, but it's not too big a deal. And you can parry him pretty easily. I'm trying to remember what the properties of the phosphorescent pole are. I believe it gives you MP regeneration. It's also surprisingly light. I don't think there's anything special about it beyond that, though. So now that I have exhausted everything I have to say about boring old Black Phantom Rydyell, he can just hurry up and die. That'd be really helpful. Also, that attack comes out surprisingly quickly. There we go. One more backstab to kill. Oh no, it didn't kill. Whoops. There we go. Now I believe up next should be someone. Isn't that informative? I think it's Miralda. Was it was Miralda? No, I'm thinking of Matilda. Never mind. Ignore everything I'm saying. It is absolute nonsense. So up next is Miralda. Miralda! Black Phantom Miralda, as opposed to Body Form Miralda, spawns on the left side of that wall, which caught me off guard the first time I did this. Also, again, a boss, or a Black Phantom that I tried to get stylish with and parry everything, and she hits faster than Satsuki and maybe a little less hard. She is dangerous, too. Yeah, half health, another, like, quarter health swing. More than that. Like, 80% of my health in 2 swings. But, still gonna parry anyway, because that is really fun to do. And look, I'm walking around with enchant weapon on like a dickhead. Also, I'm using, Garl Vinland's armor. This is what that looks like on me. And his shield, for that matter. Can't resist the Dragon Bone Smasher, though. So the Guillotine Axe is... It's a bit like the Purple Flame Shield in that it sounds like a special unique item, but it can actually be taken down any of the standard weapon upgrade paths. But it is unique in the sense that you can only get it from Executioner Miralda. Also, I started this old King Doran fight up from after the half health mark, and then he healed at some point, but it takes way too long to go through. He is one of the least dangerous NPCs once you've actually leveled up a bit. He still hits quite hard. Quite hard. But nowhere near as dangerous as the last time I fought him. Very easy to backstab. He has such slow wind-ups. Or I mean, such slow recovery animations. And then it also helps that the swing speed of Northern Regalia and the 2 Bramd weapons are also pretty low, given that they're not huge swords. Just want to bait one more hit out. Oh no, I thought I had way less damage to go than this. I can't remember if I left the full version of this fight in where he heals again. And we will find out momentarily. If he heals again, I'm just cutting forward. I sometimes feel like old King Doran has adaptable AI, where if you're not being aggressive, he just wanders around and doesn't actually swing at you all that often. But once you start swinging at him, he gets really aggressive. He gets all up in your face. No, I guess it's just me, because he's acting pretty aggressive right now. Sometimes he'll just go through these periods where he backs off. He's a great death scream. Great death rattle there. So you get all of his armor for beating him, and I'll put that on in just a moment. An old King Doran's trophy. That's what his armor looks like. I believe it's special male-only armor. Also, the Eternal Warrior's Ring is really handy in that it gives you added stamina regeneration. At some point in this Black Phantom Garl Vinland fight, I'm going to end up skipping forward, because beyond this, it's the same thing over and over again for a while. I'm doing very little damage to him. This is that royal character that I was showing during the Black Phantom Ostrava fight when that footage glitched out a little bit. And I'm doing very little damage because the only thing I have on this character is a +1 Crescent Falchion, because I went through the whole game with no weapons and barely any armor except for that. And from him you get Bramd. And we'll just go ahead and finish out the Vinland family side quest.
Why? You are one of the sane ones, are you not? I am Selen of the West. I seek my brother Garl Vinland, the knight who accompanied Saint Istarelle on her travels. I believe they set him to see my younger brother. Please tell me. I must share with him the last words of our father. This crest, that is a Vinland heirloom meant for my younger brother. So, my brother and Istarelle have both strayed from the path of God. But perhaps their hearts were too pure. Mbasa. O traveling warrior, I hesitate to ask, but can you part with that crest? Garl has strayed from the path of righteousness, but I wish him, in honor of our you in kind. Thank you, kind warrior. As Garl's sister, I express my deepest thanks for your honoring of his name. It was intended for my brother, but now it should belong to you. May the angels gaze favorably upon you. Umbasa.
Okay, so Bramd is pretty nuts. It requires more strength than I think any other weapon in the game. It's heavier than any other weapon in the game. And I believe it also has the highest durability out of any other weapon in the game. Perhaps any item. The brushwood shield might actually be heavier and more durable than it. It also has really high base damage. It scales with strength. But it weighs like 36... No, that's the strength requirement. The weight is like 40 pounds or 40 whatever units this game uses are. It also increases your poison and plague resist, but there are only like 3 ways to get plagued in the entire game, so that's kind of trivial. Also, it's a giant killer's weapon. Garl has killed giants, so that alone makes it pretty cool. By the way, that's where the Endgame archstone is that I couldn't find last time. And this is what the bad ending looks like, and how to get it.
The Old One sensed a new and powerful demon by its side. And before long, the world will be engulfed by the deep fog. Bring more souls.
And there you go. That is the bad ending. So Goodnight on the Demon Souls Wicked forums theorizes that the Northern Land is the beach area from the Endgame. You know, the Northern Land being where the Broken Archstone supposedly leads to. Because the Archstone pictures for the Broken Archstone depicts a sea of stone pillars. and the beach area is littered with them. And I think the resemblance ends there. Plus, this is below the Nexus. No reason to have one of the 6 archstones lead, maybe a few hundred feet away. Also, I didn't get to say this last time. The implication of world tendency as tied to the ending is kind of interesting. The old one invites you in and almost beckons you to replace Alant. And it kind of implies that the old one wants to use you as its new vessel, much like how the Golden Garb used a player, a Black Phantom, as its new vessel when the old monk died. And I say that the connection between world tendency and the ending is interesting because it's kind of implying that when you die a lot, in body form, you shift towards pure black world tendency and the game gets harder, so it's almost like the old one is trying to weed out the weak so it can find its new vessel. And one more thing before I sign off here. Ooh, kicked something. The reason I was picking up Bramd back there right before I got the Platinum Trophy was because I played through the game 4 goddamn times, and each time I kept fucking up in the Valley of Defilement and screwing up the world tendency there. And part of that was caused by being online, which tends to mess with your world tendency a lot. I explained that way back in like the 2nd episode, titled something to do with tendency. So yeah, I kept screwing myself out of getting Bramd from Black Phantom Vinland. So what I wound up doing was first of all, I traded a pure Bladestone for it. I actually managed to find 2 while farming, after like 200 kills of that stupid secret tunnel black skeleton. I traded a pure Bladestone for a Bramd just to get the trophy, and then after I had traded, I felt so bad about not catching that on camera that I started up another playthrough, which is why I said earlier that I did probably 5 or 6 playthroughs to get all the footage for this. And yeah, that's what happened. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this whole playthrough, this episode, this bonus episode, whatever. The next playthroughs I'm gonna be doing, the next videos I'm gonna be posting, are gonna be a Let's Play Mega Man X2 to bridge the gap between this and Dark Souls, just something along the lines of a palate cleanser. There's still some Hotline Miami videos on the way. There's going to be a Last of Us review either Monday or Tuesday this week, June, I believe 17th or the 18th, at the latest. There's going to be more Asura's Wrath DLC episodes, and Mike will be playing LA Noire pretty soon. And then when Mega Man X2 is done, it should only be about 4 or 5 episodes. That is when Dark Souls will start. So now I'm just going to let the credits finish rolling. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this, hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe, favorite, share the videos, and be sure to check out the other playlists on my channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.